Now today I'm going to show you how to make these pretty little necklaces with the summer Fling Bling treasure bag. Plus I'm going to show you how to make matching bracelets. So here's the bracelets. They're really quite cute. Very simple, very classic design. Just a little bit of sparkle. And I'm going to make the purple set on camera today. I did make the blue set also previously so that you could see it, whatever color scheme you got in your treasure bag, you could see what the end result would be with the design. Now I made a pair of earrings also, so this is a full set. Bracelet, necklace, and earrings that I will be showing you today. Now, I am using stuff in the Summer Fling Bling treasure bag. You can always use anything in your stash. You do not have to have the treasure bag to do these designs. This in particular is a very classic, very simple design that can be accomplished with almost any type of beads, any pendant, whatever you would like to use will work. Also, I wanted to mention that Misty Moon, Louisa of Misty Moon Designs, has used these crystals and the flat bicone crystals that were in the bag for a statement necklace that turned out absolutely gorgeous. So you may want to go check that out. She designed a beautiful piece. So anyway, this is what I'm going to make with you, and let's go ahead and look and see what it takes and get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we're going to use to make this set. Now, in your bag, you either got a predominantly blue bag or a predominantly purple bag. There's purple and blue in both bags, however, but one has more blue component and one has more purple components. So, in your bag, you should have a set of 4mm cubes. Now this is the purple set. You either have purple or you have half blue. Now I'm going to use the purple in this tutorial, and I've already used the blue, and you'll see the finished product for the blue. So just whichever color you have, that's what you're going to use. And then if you have a purple bag, you're going to use the purple components from the bag that you got from the large bicones here. You have 4 blue and 4 of the more purpley tones. If you have purple bicones, you're going to use the 4 purples. If you have blue, you'll use the 4 blues, whichever you have. But you have both colors in your bag. You get all 8 of these. So I just split it up, and I'm going to use the blue. I used the blue in one of the necklaces I made, and this time I'm going to use the purple components. So just decide which 4 you want to go with your bag. And then I'm going to use this little locket pendant that came in the bags. So you'll have this regardless of which color bag you got. And we're going to use the big bag of jump rings. And of course you've got that in both bags, as well as with the chain. We're going to use some of the chain that came in the bags. And then we're going to add to the treasure bags a couple of lobster claw clasps, one for the bracelet, one for the necklace. And then I have a heavier jump ring here because these jump rings are pretty light. And I used this on the bracelet to connect the jump ring or the lobster claw clasp, and you can do that on the necklace too if you'd like. This is about an 18 gauge stainless steel. I just feel more secure with a heavier one. These are lighter weight. They're pretty to design with and link with, but on the end, a heavier jump ring is going to do you a lot better. Then you'll need 2 ear wires and just a few 8/0 seed beads if you want to make your earrings the same way I'm going to. I'm just using them as spacers in my earrings. So if you don't have 8/0 in the Starlight color, this is 8/0 Toho Starlight galvanized permanent finish. If you don't have that, you can use whatever you want. You could use a little spacer bead of any type. And then I have some 20 gauge wire I cut here. This is a pretty nice heavy wire. It's 20 gauge, but it's stronger. It's like medium temper. And it's artistic wire, but it is the tarnish resistant brass. And this is 20 gauge. And that's what I'm going to be using. You can also use head pins and turn them into eye pins, or use eye pins if you'd like, that are of a heavier, stronger, not so much a heavier gauge. You want a stronger temper. You want this to be a pretty strong wire so that it'll hold your links. So a dead soft is probably a little too soft. It is too soft, as a matter of fact. So German style will work really well too. That's more of closer to a medium temper also. Or you can use some head pins, and you can just cut the ends off the head pins, make them into eye pins, use them as a piece of wire like I'm going to do. I've cut 8 pieces. I'm going to do the necklace first. So I've cut 8 pieces for the necklace, 1.5 inches long. You can do the same with your head pins. Just cut the head ends off and do exactly what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and get started with this project. So what I'm going to do to start this is I'm going to open my little locket, and I'm just going to put a few of my little cubes inside here. Now you can put anything inside you want. I actually think I might even get a different cube to put inside here because it's a little deeper color that'll show through a little bit better. So I have these cubes. They're supposed to be 4mm, but they're a little bit smaller than 4mm. And I am going to put like 4 of them inside my locket. They're a little bit deeper color. They do show through. You can see in the blue one I made, they show through. You can see the prettiness of them, especially in the side. So it is nice to have something inside your locket. Can't be anything really tiny because it's open on the sides. But these 4mm cubes work really well. And I actually put blue and purple in this one because in my original design I was going to mix the colors, but decided not to. So just pick something pretty that matches your coloring scheme, or you can put some of them that came with the treasure bag in. And you're going to just open this little locket. Now I found to open this, it's better if you just open it from the side where it's open. Just kind of put something there, or put your fingernails in there and pop it open. It's a little bit easier than trying to open from the top. And then I'm just going to put a couple of these little beads in here. Now these ones, because they're a little bit smaller than 4mm, I can get like 5 of them in here. And then close it. And just make sure you line it up here and close it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up 2 of our jump rings. So let me get some jump rings out. We're just going to prepare the pendant. Now, once you put these in here, you can't take them out. This doesn't open because of the way the bail is. You have to put your jump rings through the bail, and it doesn't open again. But you can see that that did make a difference. You can see the color through, and it is pretty to have something inside there that's going to match our color scheming. So go ahead and grab one of your jump rings, and these are pretty easy to manipulate, so I can just open it with my fingers like this. I have my flat nose pliers on this side, and I just opened it, and I'm just going to slide one in and close it. Make sure you close it well, and then I'm going to grab another. Of course, you can use your pliers on either side if you would like, just to make sure that you have them closed properly. Then I'm going to open another jump ring. I'm going to do double jump rings on everything because these are lighter weight jump rings, but they're pretty and they're nice jump rings. They close nicely. So I'm going to use them as a decorative type of component here. So now I'm just closing this jump ring. I'm going to use both, shimmy it back and forth, both pliers, and shimmy it back and forth so that it's nice and closed. And then I have my pendant partially prepared here. The way I want to continue with this is I want to have, as you can see on this one, I want to have 3 links. So I have the double link here, and then I have a double link here, and then a double link here. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare that. Just the 2. The third one we'll put on when we get some components. So the first 2 links, you're going to pick up another jump ring, put it through both links here, through both jump rings, and then pick up another one. and open it and put it through both of the jump rings and close it. Now you're somewhat prepared with your pendant here, and we're going to start with these components here. Whoops, I got an earring on my finger. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to wrap these components, and then we'll learn how to wrap the cube components. So I'm just going to set my pendant aside, and I'm going to grab one of my crystals, and I want to start with my light ones. Doesn't really matter. We're going to make all the components and then we're going to put it together, so it doesn't really matter what you start with. Now I have about 1.5 inches of wire here. I am going to grab my flat nose pliers and about a double length down of my flat nose pliers, so you can see that it looks like I have enough to put my plier on here twice. It's about 3/8 of an inch down. I'm going to bend this, and then I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, or excuse me, no, my round nose pliers, and I want to make these fairly decent sized loops. So I've got 3/8 of an inch here. I'm going to go about halfway down, not quite halfway down on the nose of my pliers to make a decent sized loop. Get you in a little bit closer, move this out a little, and what we're going to do is we are going to put this L-shaped wire over our finger, place those pliers exactly at the very end, right where you want the size of your loop, and begin to turn. Now when you've turned as far as you can, just release and bring your plier back and turn some more. And just turn until you make a full loop, just like that. And then you're going to put your crystal on. And this is what we have. Let me back off just a little bit. Now on this end, I'm going to have some excess wire. So what I'm going to do, so you could cut these a little shorter, but I always like to have more than less. So I'm going to put my flat nose pliers just a tiny bit above that crystal to give it some room to bend and not break my crystal. And then I'm going to bend this wire over the top, just like this. Now I want, again, about 3/8 of an inch. So that's about the width of my finger here, but I have big old huge hands. So I know that I can cut it right about here. And then I have my loop. Now I could have probably gone just a tiny bit longer. So now I want to place this over my finger again. That way I can balance this finger and hold the wire straight. And then I can just start to turn my loop. Putting your pliers at the very end in the same spot you did before. Turn as far as you can and then reposition by just turning your wrist forward, moving your pliers forward, and then finish your loop. Just like that. Now, my loop is not closed all the way, so I can grab it with my round nose pliers and just close it the rest of the way, or you can open it, and I'll show you how to do that with your flat nose. Now, I wasn't paying attention to which directions I turned my loops, so I'm going to grab my loop with this plier, and then I'm going to grab the other loop with my chain nose plier, and I'm just going to straighten them out so that they're going the same direction, like this. And now that my loop is a little bit open here, I can lift it like I would open a jump ring. Just lift it straight up, twist it open, and then straight back down and close that little loop, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and make all 4 of these components just like that. And when we're finished doing that, we'll come back and I'll show you how to make the components for the cubes, and then we'll put the necklace together. So go ahead and make all 4 of your components. Okay, so this is what I have now. I have all 4 of my crystals looped, and now we're going to make 4 units like this. It's exactly the same thing. You're going to take your 1.5 inch piece of wire, which I just had somewhere, or your head pin, whatever you're using, and you're going to do the same thing you did before. Come to the end of the wire and about 3/8 of an inch, roll it over. That might be a little long. If it is, I can cut it down just a tiny bit, just a little bit long. And then I'm going to grab, so I hold it in my hand like an L right over my forefinger, because that way I can hold my thumb against it and I can hold it really steady, and then I can come right to the end of that wire, right where I want to be on my plier to make the size loop I want, and just start to turn. And then reposition my plier just by turning my wrist forward and repositioning it so I can finish my turn. And then if you can't quite turn it all the way, you can take your plier out and then finish it this way. Just roll a loop, just like that. And then we're going to grab 4 of your cubes onto your piece of wire, just like this. Now my wire keeps getting all funky because I hold it so tight. Then again, I'm going to hold this portion in my hand so that I can push the cubes down towards the loop on the bottom, and then I can bend this over my finger just a tiny bit above the crystals so you don't break the crystals in bending your wire over. And then cut this wire down, and for me, I can always judge because it's about the length of my finger, so I can just put it against my finger here and I can cut it. Now, if you have really tiny little fingers, that's probably not going to be an accurate measurement for you, but that works for me. And then I am going to, again, grab my pliers and just start to roll until I can't roll anymore, and then I'll just reposition and roll some more. And then, if I can't get all the way around, I just take my pliers out and finish my loop in the front here. Sometimes I can roll it all the way around perfectly, and sometimes I can't. I'm not the best wire worker in the world, and that's okay with me. I make it work. And then I'm just going to turn my loops the same way and try to straighten my wire out because I mangled him. And then this one isn't very centered, so I can center it. Just like that. And you're going to make 4 of these. Just like that. So now we have our 4 cube components and we have our 4 crystal components. And get your pendant component back out, and also cut 2 pieces of chain. Now I've cut each piece 5 inches long, and I've made sure that they're exactly the same length as each other. I'm going to make about a 20-inch necklace. The necklace portion up around the neck, it will hang a little bit longer with the pendant. So I want this to hang down in the middle of my chest. So I'm making it 20 inches, and then the little bit of length here will make it hang just where I want it to. So if you want longer or shorter, adjust your chain length here. So I've got my 2 pieces of chain, I've got my 4 components here, and I'm going to start with my lighter colored components. And we have onto our pendant here, let me get you in, we have 2 sets of doubled jump rings. We're going to put on another set of double jump rings, and as we do that, we're going to add both the components to this set. Because as you can see, this set is horizontal, this set is vertical. We need another one horizontal to put these 2 on, or our pendant won't hang correctly. So we're going to grab one of our jump rings, and we're going to put it on to the components, both of them, like this, on either side. I'll move my hand so you can see. And then we're going to close this jump ring. Where is it? There it is. Lost my pliers. And I'm just going to close this, make sure it's closed nice and tightly. And let me back off a little because I'm getting out of camera when I lift that. And then this is what I have so far, but I want to put another jump ring through that one to stay with the doubling of the jump rings here. So I'm going to open another one, and then I'm going to go through these 2 jump rings here, and then, let me get you close, and then up through this component, and then I'll put this component on it too. Come on, get on there. Oh, you can go in there. There we go. and then we're going to close this jump ring. So I'm just going to grab onto it and close it. So this is what I have. It's like this. 2 jump rings holding these 2 together. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another 2 jump rings. I'm going to open one, and I am going to slide on my cube component and then put it on to the crystal loop, and then close my jump ring. Just like that. And then I will do that again. I'll grab another jump ring, open it from side to side, just twist them open. Don't ever pull them open, just twist them open. Go into the component of the crystal and then into the components of the cubes and close that one. That jump ring's a little funny. I may have to get a different one. Let's see. Okay, I think it's okay. All right. So now that's what I have so far. Now I'll just do the same thing on the other side. And so what we're going to do, we'll do it off camera because it's fairly simple. We're going to show you this example here. We have our 2 components in the middle here. We're going to put on 2 jump rings and then our cube component, 2 jump rings, and then our next darker crystal, 2 jump rings, and a cube component and 2 jump rings. But just go to the cube component part here. So put on your 2 jump rings and your cubes and your 2 jump rings and your crystal and your 2 jump rings and your cubes, and then we'll be back and we'll connect the chain in the back. Okay, so now this is what you should have. You have your little links all put together here on the pendant, and it lays really nice and pretty. Now let's go to the back of the necklace, and we're going to connect the chain exactly the same way. We're going to pick up 2 jump rings. Now when you cut your chain, this is Figaro chain, so if you're using the chain in the box, there are little links between the bigger links. Make sure you end both sides on a bigger link. It's just going to be easier to connect to. So then after you've done that and cut your chain and you're ready to go, go ahead and open 2 jump rings again and slide on your chain. So of course one first and then the other, but you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to put on this one, and then excuse me, we're going to put on one more and link it on here. And you'll do the same thing on the other side, of course. On the end here, we are going to grab 1 jump ring and put on our clasp. Now, if you wanted to use a heavier jump ring to put on your lobster claw clasp, you can do that. On the necklace, it's not quite as important as doing it on the bracelet, which I will show you. But we're going to go ahead and just put on 1. I tried putting 2 through this lobster claw loop, and I couldn't get 2 through it. So I'm just going to put on 1. And close it, and I have my clasping on that side. Let's go ahead and do this side, and we'll do it exactly the same way. And then one more. I don't know what's up with my camera. It looks dark. I hope it's not dark for you guys, but it seems to look pretty dark. Okay, let's see. Of course, it's rainy and stormy here today, so there's not as much light. It's evening, about 8 o'clock, but it's still usually light till around 9. However, it's really the sky is dark and cloudy. So that's what we've got there. And then on this end, I'm just going to link 3 single jump rings together for my ending. That way you have a little bit of a extension, and of course you could make even more if you'd like. I just kind of like the ending of having just a few of the jump rings on instead of just one. And again, you can use heavier jump rings if you'd like, but really I don't see it getting that much tugging. If it does, if you're really hard on your jewelry, then use heavier jump rings. Just make sure that it goes through your lobster claw, which I'm using a big one, so most any size will go through it. So I've just attached 3 of my jump rings. And now that's my ending right there. So let me show you what the necklace looks like. And that's what it looks like. Well, I guess I should show it to you. That might be a good idea. Okay, so let me back off. I don't think I'm going to get it all in here. Oh my camera zooms in so much. We'll just do it like this. And then we have the blue one. So if you have your blue bag, this is what it'll look like in blue. And you do see the little crystals through there. You can see the colors. So it is nice to put something in that little pendant. And that's what these look like. I think they're really just basic, classic looking little sparkles to put on to dress up a plain shirt or something, a little black shirt or a sweater or something like that. I think it's really nice. Now, we're going to make this little bracelet. I made one in blue, so let me show you what it looks like. And I've already shown you how to make the components. So you're going to make exactly the same components that you made for your cubes on your necklace. And you're going to make, let's see, what did I do? I did 6 of them. This is about a 7.5 inch bracelet. So you make the exact same components. You'll make seven of them, and we'll just put it together. So go ahead and make 7, and then I'll show you how to make the little dangle on the end here too, of your cubed components, and we'll come back and I will show you. It looks really good on. I'll put it on too. It's really cute on. That's what that looks like. So go ahead and make your components here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do I keep saying 7? Make 6 components. Unless you need a bigger bracelet, then make 7. If you need a smaller bracelet, then make 5. You can always extend it with more jump rings. So if it's a little too short for your 6-inch wrist or whatever, add a couple more of your jump rings on the end. And you can do that also if it's just a little too short and you have like an 8-inch wrist, but you don't want an 8-inch bracelet. So you can always add more jump rings on the end. But let's go ahead and make some components. Come back and I'll show you how to put them together. So I have my 6 components complete here, and my lobster claw clasp and my heavier jump ring, and then some jump rings. And I have a ball head pin. I am going to make a little dangle for the end of the bracelet like this. So some of these head pins fall right through, even though they have a ball, fall right through the cube. So you want to get a cube, and I am finding that a lot of my crystal cubes are having, their holes are drilled not quite right. If you have that issue, I apologize. Of course, I don't manufacture the beads, but anyway, here is a ball head pin. I'm going to drop on a little cube. Make sure that the cube doesn't slide over the hole. And then I'm going to pick up an 8/0 seed bead. And then I am going to pick up another cube, and I'm going to make my little dangle. So I've got my component like this, and I am going to place my round nose pliers just right above that last cube. And then I'm going to bend the wire over the top of the plier, the back prong of it. And then I'm going to turn my hand up vertically so that it is in the bend of that wire now. And then I'm going to bring the wire over the top. As I bring the wire over the top, the long length of it, I am going to turn my hand parallel to the bead mat now, and I am going to make a loop, just like this. My loop's a little off kilter, so I can just bring it back on the other side of the loop. And then I'm going to grab my straight nose pliers, and this is a soft head pin, so I can just roll it with my fingers, and I'm just going to roll it around the long length of wire until I have my cubes kind of tight here. And then I can cut this down. Okay, then I'm going to use my little needle nose tweezer guys and my pliers, and I'm going to squish that little wire in, trying not to break my cube in the process. And there we go. And now I have a little dangle just like this, and I can put that aside with my other components, and I'm just going to start putting them together. So let's start with the lobster claw clasp, and let's open up. I have a heavier gauge jump ring here so that my lobster claw, as you're tugging and pulling on it trying to get it to clasp, you won't pull open your jump ring. So I've got a nice heavy like 18 gauge jump ring, and I'm just going to put it on my clasp, and then I'm going to put it on my first unit here and close it. Make sure it's closed nice and tightly. Looks good, like that. And then we're going to begin building our bracelet. So we're just going to do what we did before. We're just going to open 2 jump rings and put on each component. So I've got 1 jump ring on here, just like this, and I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to grab another jump ring and open it and put it on both components like this and close it. The jump ring is, no, it's okay. Okay, so just like that. And we're going to continue doing that, and we're going to connect all 6 of our components. And when we have done that, just leave your little dangle component aside. And when we have all of them, then we will come back and put the other end on. Okay, so this is what I have now. And I'm going to go ahead and do the end with my little dangle component too. I'm going to put 2 links here. You can put as many as you want. I'm going to make them double links just like we've been doing, because when you put them together and then you put the little dangle on the bottom, it's going to hold them together enough to where even though there's 2 of them, if you have a good size lobster claw, you can go through both of them for the ends, and that will make them nice and strong too. And it just carries out the prettiness of the bracelet, the theme of the double jump rings. So what we're going to do is just what we've been doing. We're going to grab a couple jump rings and we're going to put them on the last link here. So open a jump ring, slide it on the last link. Where's my, there it is. I'm getting stuff everywhere. I have stuff all over my desk. Okay, so I'm going to close the jump ring, and then I'm going to open another one. And put another one on. And close that one. And then I'm going to grab the jump ring, open it up, grab the little dangle I made and put it on. And then I'm going to grab another jump ring and go through the 2 jump rings and then the little component that I made. So I will just go through this one, or these 2 actually. Come here. I'm going through these 2, and then I'm going to go through the little component, get you closer, like this, and then I'm going to close this. And then I'm going to get you close so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. And I can go ahead and link my lobster claw right through it. Just like that. And let me back off so you can see it. And I'll get the blue one out too. Now, you can curve these little components if you want, but they flip around and they're not going to stay the proper curve. So I'm trying to keep them straight. I bent them a little bit just making them because I just was being brutal, I guess. I don't know. But keep them straight. They'll work out just fine. You don't have to curve them if you don't want to. They're not big components, and they'll lay nice on your wrist. There is the purple one, and where's my blue one? Oh yeah, right here, right in front of my face. So I'll move this one over and show you what this one looks like so that you can see, if you have the blue bag, what yours will look like if you make one. So that's what that looks like. And again, I need to straighten out my little components. I mangled them. I think on this one I was trying to bend them a little bit to see if I needed to do that, but you don't. They're fine without being curved. They're small enough links that they don't need to be curved. So that's what that looks like. And I think they turned out really, really pretty. They're just cute little classic little bits of sparkle on your arm, and you could make a bunch of these with all different color cubes if you'd like. I have like a multicolor strand cube in my store, and that would be really cute just to make them all different colors and make a bunch of them and stack it up. And you could put all different colors on each section even, and that would be fun. So anyway, next, we're going to do exactly what we've been doing. Now you're going to make one of the components that we just made for this dangle here that I just showed you how to make. You're going to make one of those components, and then we will make a component on the top here, and I'll show you how to do that. So go ahead and make another little component with your, or 2 of them actually for your earrings. So with your head pins, you're going to drop on, let me find one that's drilled correctly, a cube and then a jump ring and then a cube. Make your loop and wrap it, and then we will make top components. We'll make our, we'll use them with the head pin. You can use a piece of wire if you want, but this head pin is smaller gauge than the 20 gauge that I used for the necklace, so I'm just going to use a head pin to make the top portion. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a whole earring so you can see. Very simple, very fast. So first, you're going to use your ball head pin. Make sure that the cube isn't going to slide over it. You are going to put on a cube, an 8/0 seed bead, a cube, and then you're going to place your plier right up against that cube. Bend the longer portion of wire over the back of your plier. Turn your wrist so now that your hand is up and down like this, and then you're in the bend of that wire that you created. Then bring the wire over the top of your plier, and then turn your wrist parallel as you bring the wire underneath to create a loop. Just like this. Get you closer. even a little closer maybe.
And now I'm going to grab a hold of this loop here, and I'm going to start to wrap. I'll move my
Wire kind of parallel so it's the same angle as my
plier holding onto that, and I'm just going to start wrapping. Now you can wrap with your fingers if your wire's flexible enough, or you can use a plier, just like that. So I wrapped it around about 3 times, and then I'm going to cut it real close to the cube here. And then I am going to tuck that little piece in, just like that. Now, my loop is a little bit off-centered, so I'm going to grab it and center it a little bit and straighten it out a little bit.
And that is the bottom portion of my earring. Now, I don't know if I was in camera, I hope I was, and we're going to do the top portion. Now I've got a regular head pin here, and I'm just going to cut off the end of it. And you can do this with all of the components that I showed you before too, if you don't have wire. Now I'm going to make a head pin on the top here, so I'm going to go about 3/8 of an inch again, so it's about 2 lengths of the width of the nose of my flat nose pliers, like that. Now I know that's a little bit long because of the width of my finger, so I'm going to cut that down just a little bit. Come on, cut. And then I'm going to place that back over my finger, and I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers. I don't want this to be a huge loop, so I'm not quite halfway down here on my pliers, and I'm going to start to turn as far as I can, reposition my wrist and turn some more, and then I'll just take my plier out and bring it forward here. So just wrapping a loop around just like you did before. It's just that this wire is a little bit harder to work with because it's a head pin and it's a little bit harder. But just making a little loop here. And then you're going to grab a cube and then an 8/0 seed bead and a cube, and then you're going to take your flat nose pliers, place it just a little bit above that cube, bend that wire over just like we were doing with our other components, and then hold on to it and cut it down. Now I'm gonna probably make that fly. Oops, I cut that too short. So I'm going to see if I can make my loop anyway. This is really hard wire, it's hard for me to work with. So I'm going to make a little bit smaller loop on the top here. And that's okay, I'll just remember on my next one to make a smaller loop on the top unit here. So I've got a smaller loop than I do down here. So I just used a little narrower part since I cut it a little too short, and see how you can correct that, and that's okay. And then we're just going to put these two pieces together. So we're just going to open 2 jump rings and slide the 2 together like this. I'm using the bigger loop I made on the top unit, and then I'll put the smaller one in my ear wire. So I'm just going to put 2 little jump rings in here. And do this again. Come here. Close it. And then I'm going to grab an ear wire, and I'm going to open the ear wire so I don't have to open my loop on my component. I'm just going to open it, find where it opens, which side is open, and then I'm just going to twist it open just like a jump ring.
And I'm going to slide my loop on there and close it back the way I opened it. Just twist it back.
It's like that. And now I have an earring.
And this is what the blue one looks like. It's the blue set. So I'm going to go ahead and make another one of
this color, and then I'll show you the entire set we have
Okay.
made. I can't get them in my camera very well, but here are both
sets. This is the purple one. Here's the set of earrings I just finished.
So let me show them to you. They're quite pretty.
Probably just lay them down would be better.
To show you than trying to pick them up. I will zoom in here so you can see the necklaces themselves the best I can. It isn't ideal, guys. Let me just pick up one of them and show you. So this is what it looks like. It's really a very simple, very pretty little design, very classic, and will go good with almost anything. Here are the bracelets. They turned out really, really cute. And I will put one on if I can.
Okay,
So I put them on. I wanted you to see them. They are so cute.
They're probably my favorite part of this whole set. The little dangles right here.
Really cute. And it's just a little over a 7-inch bracelet. Has nice movement on my wrist. Works really well. And they stack together nice too. And again, you could make this, like I said earlier, in all different colors of cubes. I have a bunch of different colors at the store, and I also on my website, and I also have a strand with mixed colors, and I think I might grab one of those strands of mixed colors and make myself just a hodgepodge of colors of cubes. It just really turns out cute. Anyway, bye-bye. See you next time.